Okay, so I think
Okay, so
the bit about the benefit to the policyholders, I hinted about the fact that it gives the insured some kind of assurance that his claims are going to be paid. So it also, in a way, provides security um, for the insured because he is well assured that his claims are going to be paid, right? So that is the bit about reinsurance, its rule, and then the benefit to the insurers and the policy holders. Do you want to add anything before we look at the last question? Yes. Or you have a question too, you can ask.
no, please, I don't know.
Okay. Now let me ask you. So, do you feel that the policyholder has a role to play in the reinsurance process?
Sir, the policy holder here is the insured
Yes.
or
Yeah, it's the
insured.
insured. Yeah.
Okay. Do I think they have, please, I didn't get your question.
Do they have a role to play in the reinsurance process?
Please, no. If they, personally, no, no.
But technically,
If only, here in this case, in the reinsurance case, the insurance company, the small insurance company here becomes the policyholder. Right?
yeah.
Yeah, so they have a role to play here also.
Okay. So I think the point you make is true. Is I think it's better for us to appreciate that in the reinsurance process, you see, it's mainly reinsurance is mainly between the insurer and the reinsurer. Okay. So the policyholder has no business regarding or relating to the contract between the insurer and the reinsurer. So let's put in a specific example. Imagine Kofi. So Kofi wants to have, why am I using Kofi? Let me use Baumia. So Baumia wants to insure his vehicle, right? So Baumia becomes the insured, right? Baumia goes to SIC, the first insurance company. So that becomes the insurer, right? Now, SIC thinks that, oh, they can transfer some of the risk to, which, let me use Glyco. They can transfer some of the risk to Glyco. So Glyco becomes the reinsurer. Okay. So the reinsurance contract is technically between SIC and Glyco. Baumia has no direct role to play in such arrangement, even though he would benefit in the event of the misfortune, have some benefits from Glyco. Those benefits will come to him through the first insurer or the SIC company. So yes, it is true. The policyholder has no direct role to play in the reinsurance contract. Actually, what happens is the insurer would assess, number one, look at the possible company they want to do the reinsurance with, put in the proposals to work out the premium payment, etc. Okay, and then the final decision taken. And when there's the occurrence of the event, the reinsurer would have to compensate the insurer, who in turn compensates the insured. Okay, so thank you very much for that. Let's look at our last question. Prophet Cha, if you have any question, you can ask. But again, let me also ask, is it only bigger insurance companies that can do reinsurance, or smaller companies can also do? No, I think I should reverse the question. Is it smaller companies that should do reinsurance, or bigger companies can also do? As in bigger insurance company or insurers, are they also, is it advisable for them to do reinsurance? Okay, I think I'll answer this one. Either way, it's advisable. A smaller insurance company can do reinsurance. Likewise, a bigger company can also do same, right? Because the benefits that comes with it is much, much greater. And regardless of the size of the company, even though it seems it's the smaller companies who would be much interested in insurance, because their capacity is one that may be faced with liquidity challenges if they take on more insurance contract without reinsuring. Okay. The last question was about explain the concept of insurable interest. So explain.
Please, what was the answer to your question? The one that you said only big companies can do reinsurance.
Okay, so I think any company, regardless of your size, should consider reinsurance if it becomes necessary, right? Because if you're a bigger insurance company and you are taking on more insurance contracts, it can happen that payment of claims can give you liquidity issues. Okay, so you can spread it. So a bigger insurance company actually can also transfer some risk to the smaller ones, right? So it's not always the case that it's a smaller company that would be doing reinsurance. A bigger company can also do, because it gives you that room to diversify even your investment portfolios. Okay. So the last question is explain in insurable interests and why it is necessary, why it is a necessary condition for insurance company, and explain and state why it is necessary. Why it is a necessary condition for insurance coverage. Okay. So let me hear my professors on this, and then I'll add my final thoughts. They'll move on. Professors, I'm waiting for you. Alphabetically, I think Ella should go first.
So alphabetically, HR. Her name is not an HR. Her name is HR.
Well, I'm seeing Nana here, so alphabetically on my screen. Ella, I think that you have to. So Ella, we are waiting for you. Your argument has been overruled. So please, we are listening to you.
Please check alphabetically again.
Well, at the time that I was giving the instructions, your name was not Zainab, it was Ella. So please.
So question 3, my answer was, so in your explanation of insurable interest, you said that the person must be able to insure something that the person has a direct stake in it. Let's say you can't go and insure a stranger's life.
Sure.
You must be like you and the thing must be in a relationship.
Oh, okay.
That was what you said. That was what you said about insurable interest. And my answer was, this concept requires the policyholder to have a legitimate interest in the subject matter of the insurance. This means that the policyholder should suffer a financial loss if the insured item was damaged or lost. Also, policyholders must have a genuine stake in the insured assets. Like, yeah, as I said. And
Okay.
why?
Okay. And so why is it a necessary condition for insurance?
Why is it? Oh, okay, yeah. It is some kind. Okay. So it is because um
Okay, I think at this
it
point,
is necessary for insurance. Say yes because it prevents moral hazard and fraud.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay. Thank you, Prophet Chan. I'm sure you are going to say or share similar thoughts. Unless you want to add to what Ella said, then I would allow you.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, so like you explained, insurable interest is that principle that expects that the insured should have a direct interest in the asset he or she wants to insure. Okay, you should have some interest. The loss should be one that would affect you personally if it occurs. Otherwise, then you don't have any insurable interest in it. So, like you said, I, Mr. Amwa here, cannot insure against the death of somebody I don't know, somebody I have no relations with, right? Because then what will be the loss to me if that person dies? I cannot go and insure a stranger's vehicle because what is my interest in a stranger's vehicle? Okay, but I can insure my own vehicle. Why? Because I have a genuine interest in that vehicle. And so if something happens to that vehicle, it affects me directly. Okay, now the reason why it is necessary is because we want to avoid, fraudulent claims by people where people will just go and insure a property because they know that definitely that property is going to have some issues. And even though they are not directly involved with that particular property, they want to benefit from it. So it is to avoid some of these fraudulent claims that people may want to. And it is also to ensure that policyholders have a genuine financial interest. Because imagine, even though you have insured your car against accident, I'm not sure because the car is yours and you have that financial interest in that car. I'm not sure you'll be driving anyhow just because you have an insurance covering it. Because it's your asset, so you would want to protect your asset, right? Imagine if I can insure somebody's car and then I will do the insurance, go and pick the person's car and just go and get accident because at the end of the day, if the car even gets spoiled, it's not mine in the first place. I'll go and claim. So it's due to some of these issues why the principle of insurable interest makes sense in the insurance industry or contracts. Okay. If not, then people would also be insuring in things that are outrageous. Imagine people insuring against, the continuation of the National Cathedral. That is just by the way, though. Okay, so that was the assignment. So I think I will go through and mark for all of us. And I really appreciate your efforts to express your views and thoughts about this. Okay, so I think we can make progress now and look at, our topic for our next sessions, and that will be production. Now, I want my professors to share their views about production. What do you know about production? What is it? Yes, I think you know what production is. Yes. So should I call you Prof. Ella or Prof. Zena? Which?
Prof. Ella.
Okay.
Production in economics is the creation of goods and services to be able to satisfy human needs and wants.
Okay. Okay. Prof. Ella, you want to add? Sorry, Prof. Echan.
Yes, please. She wants.
I think you should add, in this case, add something to what Prof. Ella said.
The creation of goods or services on a large scale.
Okay. Okay. Well, some definitions would say production is the process of combining all factors of production to create goods and services, okay, to satisfy human wants, right? Now, why this topic? Well, at the end of this, we should be able to define production. At least we should look at the factors of production, right? And then we'll pick each of these factors and look at a bit of each of them. Okay, and then we'll look at some advantages and benefits of production in the first place, and pay much attention into maybe things of specialization or certain industries where these production activities occur. I think it's a brief topic, so we wouldn't waste my time over it, right? So for today, let's look at the definition and the factors of production. We'll continue, God willing, on our next meeting. So like you rightly said, production is the creation of goods and services. The creation of goods and services. Okay, why do you create goods and services? Because you want to satisfy human needs and wants. Okay, so the essence of production is for us to satisfy human needs and wants. So I think you appreciate that human beings have a lot of needs and wants, from food, clothing, shelter, etc. Right? We even have social needs, psychological needs, etc. Okay, so any attempt to satisfy this need or want is production. So sometimes it could be a physical product or goods or merchandise, or it could be an intangible service. Okay. So anything, be it tangible or intangible, that seeks to satisfy human want is the result of production. So I think we should put something down here. So production is the process of creating goods and services to satisfy the needs and wants of people. Okay. That's production. So if you want to go deeper, it says it's the transformation of inputs to output with the aim of satisfying human needs and wants. So I think you can vary the words, change the wordings to explain production. But basically, it is creating goods and services, okay, to satisfy the wants of people or the needs of people. Now, before you can create something, you would need something. Okay, if you want to make palm nut soup, you would need something before you can make that palm nut soup. If you want to make a pen, a book, you would need something. So it means that we need to appreciate the fact that you need some input to transform into output. Well, in this case, I think the output would be a product or a service. But what are the inputs? What do you start your production process with? So what you begin your production process with becomes the input, right? And these inputs technically are referred to as the factors of production. Factors of production. So let's look at what these factors of production is. I think my professors, I want to hear your version of factors of production. Yes, Prof. Ella.
Factors of production: land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship.
Okay. So these are various resources, various resources that are combined to create goods and services. So the resources that you combine, well, some are human, others are not human. Okay, so specifically, these are the factors of production that we are going to look at. The first one is land, and I think you know this thing, so please continue for me. The next will be what?
Labor.
Thank you, labor. And then we have capital, and finally, entrepreneur. So these are the four major factors of production. Okay, so these four are what we combine together to create the goods and services that we have to satisfy our needs and wants. So now the task is for us to pick them one by one. Look at what constitutes land, what constitutes labor, what constitutes capital, and what constitutes entrepreneur. And I think my professors are very well versed in some of these areas. You know what land is, you know what labor, capital, and entrepreneur is. Or that is not the case, professors. My professors, do you have idea on these things or not? Well, I think your silence means that you are very much, okay with some of these things. But then we'll pick them one by one and look at them extensively in our next sessions. I think it's almost 2 o'clock. I'll pause here, and we'll continue our class in the next lesson. That is next Friday. Friday, God willing, we'll meet and continue. But I would expect my professors to read around the factors of production, land, labor, capital, entrepreneur. So when we meet, God willing, next week, next Friday, or when we meet Friday, I should say, we can have a nice and a fruitful discourse. Okay, so I'll end here. Any question from Professor Chan? I think Ella just went off because of network. Professor Chan, any question? Any problem?
No, please.
Okay. Thank you very much for the time. I'll see you, God willing, Friday. So have a nice day. Okay, Prof. Ella is now in. So, Prof. Ella, if you have any question, you may ask. If not,
No, please.
okay. So I think you have some minutes to spare, and if you have a next class, prepare for it. I'll see you on Friday, God willing. Have a nice evening, afternoon and evening, and take very good care of yourselves. Bye-bye.
Mhm.